Hey guys, this is Sunsfan, and I don't know if you remember, but when we first introduced our Dotacinema hero chest, I mentioned that we were working on a totally different kind of chest too. Well, after months of work, we're ready to introduce the first half of it. We thought it would be cool to have a chest full of gems that would change particle effects for some heroes' skills. These gems would then be able to be attached to the hero in question by the player. This means that there is no physical item needed to equip, which I think is great since it gives players more flexibility on what sets they want to use. Before I go further, I have to mention that this is currently not possible to do. This is something Valve would have to code into the game to make possible. So if you like it, be sure to show your support as it's the main thing they'll be looking for. So without further ado, I introduce to you the Ultimate Chest, created by the ridiculously talented Chemical Alia and Dry socket. This chest will come with 10 gems, 2 of which are of the very rare variety. All of these gems will change the ultimate of a specific hero, along with custom spell icons. Today we will introduce half of them. In the coming weeks, and of course with your input, we will come out with the second half. First up is Enigma's ultimate, Black Hole. As you can see, there are a lot of cool particle effects at work here, and the most notable change is the orange color added. It also adds larger asteroids and stars circling to their doom. For me, this was always an ultimate that I thought looked cooler in the original Dota. I don't really think that's the case anymore. Here you can see the comparison between the current black hole and ours. Next we have Venomancer's ultimate, Poison Nova. This was actually a very difficult skill to think of cool ideas for, as it has such a wide radius and you don't want it to become unrecognizable. We also thought that his original ultimate, although extremely powerful, felt kind of lackluster in the visual department. In this version we stuck to the original colors, but added some red and orange, which already exist in his texture. We feel that the end result is a much more impactful looking ability. And here you can see the comparison between both Poison Novas. Third, we have Queen of Pain's ultimate, Sonic Wave. This is an ability that wasn't necessarily boring, but we felt had enormous possibilities. This version keeps some of the glows from the original, but changes a lot of the colors. I'm a huge fan of the bats implemented on the end of her wave, as well as the overall feel of the spell when cast. There's also an additional shockwave added around Quap to really emphasize the impact. This is easily one of my favorite spell changes, and I'm really happy at how it turned out. And of course, you can see the comparison of the two versions here. Fourth is the almighty Tidehunter Savage. This is the one skill in this part of the chest that I actually love the original for, so I wasn't sure it needed any revising, but after seeing it in motion, I was sold. These are actually completely different tentacle models, which have a nice textured look to go along with new vibrant colors. Also, if you look closely, new animations were added for it as well. Here's the comparison. Last but not least, how can you have a chest with Tidehunter without his enemy/lover Kunkka, as we look at his ultimate, Ghost Ship? This will be the very rare drop in the chest. The idea for this ability came from the original Dota. I'm not sure how many of you go back to that time, but Kunkka's boat was basically solid black, while being only somewhat transparent. And honestly, I thought it looked way better that way. Here we kind of combine the two. We have a brand spanking new model for the boat, which is black with some ghostly highlights. We've added fire effects on the bow and sails, and a new crash animation. I cannot stress how difficult this skill was to change, as the proper tools aren't readily available, so kudos to Dry and Alia for deciphering it with their boundless knowledge. Here's the comparison between both ghost ships. Well, that wraps up the first of 2 parts for this particle chest. If you liked it, go ahead and give it some upvotes on the workshop, links of which are on the screen and in the description of this video. Generally speaking, upvotes on the workshop are pretty damn important, but with this chest, it's actually infinitely more important, as like I said in the beginning of the video, a gem-related chest has never been done, so the reception of you guys will play a huge role in whether this ends up happening or not. I'd like to give an enormous thanks to Chemical Alia and Dry for being beasts at what they do. Check out the rest of their amazing work in the description. And of course, we'll be back in the coming weeks with the second part of this chest. Can you guys guess which hero's ultimates will be changed next? And are there any ultimates in-game currently that you feel need to be redone? Let us know in the comments. And lastly, we couldn't really think of any cool names for the abilities themselves. So if you think of any, just post it in the comments, and if we use it, we'll give you a shout out on the next video. Thanks for watching, friends, and until next time, this is SunsFan signing out.